Hello. Hi, everyone. We're back with another episode of the Women's Revolution podcast. Today, it's me, Geeta, and Kelly. Divina, unfortunately, is not able to join us for this episode, but she's with us in our heart. And thank you for joining us. I hope you're having, well, a great Friday and end of the week. And we are talking today about self care and how we take care of ourselves mentally and physically. So, we are going to have a conversation around what we do, some of our strategies. And if you have any questions, if you want to contribute, just comment, send us an email. Feel free to reach out. We would love to hear from you. And one of the ways that we take care of ourselves is by grounding as well. So before, and if you're watching us regularly, you know that we start by grounding ourselves and pause just for a few seconds. And that's how we are starting today as well. And it's going to be Geeta. Geeta, whenever you're ready.
Okay, so if it's safe to do so, and you feel called to, I invite you to lower your gaze or close your eyes and just make yourselves as comfortable as you can. Just take a moment to take a nice deep breath. I'm going to invite you to take 3 deep breaths. So breathe in and feel free to make an audible sound as you breathe out. And again, breathe in, pause, and one more. Just really feel into your body. Take a moment to notice what's happening within the mind, within the physical body, and in your heart. Notice the sensations. Just scan through from the top of your head, down through your face. Notice where you're holding any tension, down through the neck, your shoulders, inviting in a little softness, a little more ease with each breath that you take, going down through your chest, your back, through your belly. Can the next breath be a little deeper? Continuing through your hips, top of your legs, noticing any sensations, any tension, or where there might be ease. Through your knees, down through your legs, into your ankles and your feet. And just keep breathing deeply and gently, noticing all the different sensations, messages, feelings and thoughts arising within you, allowing yourself to be really present here in this time with us and for yourself. When you're ready, open your eyes and join us back on the screen.
Oh, lovely. Thank you. And I was just saying to Gita that she has a very lovely voice. So I really love doing this with Gita, these meditations, these moments. So maybe I will start
Oh,
then. One of the
you're
things,
very welcome.
oh, one of the things that I really enjoyed and I started doing with Gita in terms of self-care was meditation because I've started meditation very late in my life. I think probably around 40s. something around the 40s when I was 40. Before that, I didn't even care. And I really thought, oh, meditation, that's woo woo, never works. Blah, blah. But when I started doing meditation, it was a funny experience anyway. But I do love it, and I value the experience and how it's relaxing, and you just go deep and you learn more about yourself, and the more you do it, the more you enjoy it.
Mm.
And when I meditate, and sometimes people ask me, and I just say it doesn't, for me it doesn't need to be a 1 hour meditation, even if it's just what we did now, just 1 minute or 5 minutes.
Mhm.
It's just the effect is huge, to me at least, is big. It's just the when I finish, it's just like, okay, I'm ready to wherever comes.
It's the
But
power of the pause, isn't it?
yeah,
However long that pause is. Is it a breath? Is it a minute, five? But pausing, I find, is really invaluable to go from a place of potentially um, reaction to responding.
yeah,
Mm.
and we forget to pause.
Mm.
Yeah, and I think just to kind of add to that, when I think of that mental, emotional, physical, spiritual needs, I think the pause can cater for all of it, and
Yeah,
it doesn't come with any price because I do invest a lot in more my mental, physical, mental, emotional, in other things. But then there's things we can do for free,
oh
and
yeah,
and those pauses for me is it can be when I go and make a hot drink, so I kind of
oh,
anchor it to a kettle. Um, and as my awareness has grown, I just know how when I need that pause. But I still do it with a kettle. That's where I started. Every time I go and get a drink or a kettle, that's my kind of remembrance or an anchor to go. Okay, take a pause. Just check in on yourself. And I think one of the most important reasons, as we know, I know that the figure shifts depending on who you speak to, but I think most researchers or neuroscientists or coaches, like therapists, will say we're always habitual creatures.
yeah,
So 95% of the time we're doing things, but we're doing things without recognizing what we actually are needing in certain moments. So those pauses kind of interrupt that habitual way of being, and it allows us to kind of just check in. Actually, I need to move my body. Actually, I need to prioritize this today. Actually, this is more of a priority because if I prioritize this, then I can give more to this. Um, so yeah, so that's one thing I do that caters for the whole umbrella of physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual, and is free.
and it's free. Yeah, and I love when your idea of the kettle, right? Because you're going to prepare your tea, and you've created that habit, right, of checking in. Let me stop and check in. It became your pattern, a regular pattern, a positive one
Yeah.
for you. Hmm.
And just on that, around the check-in, I think that's like the one of the most important things I've learned is to do a self check-in so
Hmm.
that I can then understand what is it that I need in this moment and not just a default of, oh, I haven't exercised today, so I should.
Okay.
It's more check in, what do I need today? Yes, exercise is good, but is that what I need today? Is it journaling? Is it a meditation? Is it, I don't know, is it actually connection with
Yeah.
someone? Um, Whatever it might be, rather than, well, it's in my diary and that's what I should do. Um, and that's why I love working with my personal trainers that I do, because actually it's very intuitive. We have a plan, but we also check in with where I am, what is showing up for me, and is that the right plan for today? And they shift with me, which I
Hmm.
love.
That's
Yeah.
very interesting because we're talking about exercise, and which what happens to many people, and I'm one of them, is that we have a gym subscription and we are, oh, I'm going to the gym. Yeah, 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 I have a gym subscription, blah, blah, blah. And rarely, or it's just once a week, some weeks, not even, uh, again, because it's just not the right thing, maybe. And it happens to me frequently with the gym. I don't know. Yeah, if you are watching and you are like me, don't worry. Yeah, and I subscribed. I remember I subscribed to the gym box about 2 months ago because our gym closed, and I think I've been there. I don't know, once or twice, maybe twice, 3 times. And yeah, it's interesting because again, it doesn't call me enough. And I know it's important. Exercise is very important, but there's something that it's not connecting with me.
Mm. Yeah, there's a few things that come up listening to you ladies actually.
Mm,
And those I think when we can sometimes override ourselves, and that then can disrupt self-trust
Yeah.
because we're not deeply listening and tuning to what actually is what our bodies and ourselves are calling for. But also I find being a woman and even with my menstrual cycle, my energy levels are very different and they shift throughout the month. So it
yeah.
just allows me just to tune in actually what is the best for me.
Mm,
And there's been times, not so much now, but there has been times when I do change it. Um, then moments of like you said, the shoulds, which can activate that nervous system into a kind of a more of a fight against yourself, but actually with the guilt comes up.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
then you can get really curious with yourself about what emotions, while you're creating this change, what emotions come up that actually need looking at, because it allows us to create that more inner freedom and start to make more conscious change, but also get curious what those inner blocks are that kind of get in the way. And the other thing that came up for me listening is there's a lot on social media about self-compassion and we think love yourself, be kind to yourself, and I'm all for that, obviously. But
Yeah.
also self-compassion is also about doing the things that sometimes we want to make excuses for. It's
Yes.
it's
Absolutely.
that it's that about, actually, I don't want to do that, but I know I need to do it. So
Yeah.
it's having it's having that beautiful little boundary in yourself, knowing you're doing this because it's best for you. And there are times, sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't want to. I don't know if it's exercise or do whatever. But I know if I listen, I'm like, actually, I know this is the best thing for me. So that compassion actually is going, come on,
Yeah.
this is going to be good for you, and this is nourishing you. If you
Yes.
don't, you're going to feel worse. So there's a few threads that came up for me there when I was listening to you.
And
Yeah.
you're absolutely right. There is that balance, isn't it? And that's where self-awareness and really self-honesty and trust all comes into it. It's like, we'll use the exercise as an example because it's often the one where people can resonate with, like, oh, I've got a gym membership, I don't go and I haven't used it, or I don't, whatever it might be. But it's actually like what is good for me. But that happens when you can really tune into yourself and start to really listen to your body. So I know, for example, in May, I overrode myself and carried on exercising when I shouldn't have because I thought it was the good. I was like, I'm making excuses here, carry on. I got an injury. I can,
Mm. Oh,
and I'm still recovering from it, which is where my personal trainers have been great because they've actually worked with me to help rehabilitate from that. Um, and that's the thing. It's like I didn't listen. There was something coming through, and I was like, no, you've got back into exercise because I had an injury last year. It took a while to recover. I was like, no, you're back in. It's fine. It's good for you. Don't fall into that pattern of, oh, be so kind to yourself and then you end up not doing it. So I was trying to go between the two and I ended up, doing myself an injury. And I've learned from it and it's experience and it's building that muscle within me to really really continue to tap in and tune in and self-honor, and and it's okay.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, and it happens to me as well, even with the gym. Um, and one thing that I notice is for me, and I don't know if you feel the same, is that I some of the things are easier for me because if I like the class, for example, when I have a class that it's Afro beats, it's kind of a dance Zumba. I know that I will be there because I like it and I really enjoy the music and dance. If I have to do some strength exercise, for example, which I am not a fan of, that's where I resist more because I'm going to do something that I really don't like, that I'm almost forced to do. And that's where I find most the challenge. And then because I'm 52, I've been through menopause, and there's a lot of conversations. You've been through menopause. You need now to do more strength exercise because it's important for your bones, for your muscles. So I kind of feel like the pressure. I need to do it now because I've never done it as much as I wanted to before because it's something that I do enjoy. So now, at this stage of my life, I need to do it. It's a need. And
mm,
I think the change from you can choose to do it and now you need to do it is where I find the challenging. It's like I'm challenging the you need to do it, you have to do it. It's that. So that those are the classes that for me are more. I resist more to go because I really don't like it, and I haven't found a way. And I know that's the secret. I need to find a way to enjoy. I haven't found it yet.
yeah, bring joy into it. Yeah.
Because I think that's the difference. If I bring joy to it, wherever it is, how it is, I know I will do it easy.
That's why I have my personal trainers, because I go and no matter whatever it is we're doing, I have fun because they're both amazing and I love spending time with them. So that's my motivation.
Yeah.
So I'll go.
So
Yeah.
I might need to find, yeah, that could be a solution as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really interesting, isn't it? Because there's two things that it's like language, how important language is. Because when you
Mm.
say I should, I have to, that
Yeah,
already creates like an arousal where it's like, oh, it's like when you're being told what to do. But when you
yeah,
come, it's like I choose to. There's a different kind of energy behind it. There's a different kind of flow. There's a different openness. But also then if that is what I need, like what is the best way of meeting that need? And that's going to look different for
to
every single
everyone.
person. And just to very briefly say, otherwise I would take up the whole like podcast, is that I've had a journey over the last 9 years of being up and down with injury, and it was from a fractured coccyx
Mm.
to every professional I probably can think of, and every flavor of them. And they've all helped to a degree. But I've always kept on getting back re-injured. But I always had this belief I'm on a journey to find something that works because if I can do this for myself and have this belief that there's something that I haven't found, but I will find it, even though there was a lot of fear put into me. You can't do this anymore. You can't do that anymore. You can't do this to me because it's affected this of your back and stuff. There was another part of me that was taking in that fear, that was inhibited me doing the stuff that I know that makes me feel nourished. But also there was a part of me going, I not believe in all of this. There's so much out there that we don't know that maybe is off the kind of mainstream path, but I will find it. And at this moment, I feel I have found it.
Mm.
And I'm going through a beautiful healing journey. My whole body feels completely different. Working with my belief structures, because what people had put into me unintentionally wasn't coming from a malicious way. It was just more what their belief system that then I had taken in like a sponge, and it shaped my reality of what I believe my body could do. But now I'm kind of working with another kind of alternative doctor, I would guess, and it's helping my body self-heal.
Yeah.
And through that, everything is starting to feel different. I've gone into a beginner's weight training course, everything that I was told not to do. and I'm actually feeling better. So I think sometimes we know what we need, but the blocks, coming back to those blocks are me. Yeah, I'm getting injured all the time, and I'm listening to people either overriding myself, or I've taken on those people's fears and beliefs because they believe that was true, and then I've taken it on as my truth. But it's always having that hope, knowing, no, I know I can get back to where I want to get back to, but I got to keep looking to help me fix this, or help me with this need that needs attention. And so I've probably gone off on a little spiral, but yeah, sometimes it's a little bit more complex in meeting our physical, mental, and spiritual needs if we have a challenge that we're trying to kind of work through. So I guess what I'm trying to say, if people are in similar circumstances, it's one to really listen to yourself and have that hope that there is different modalities out there that can help you.
Yeah, it's being curious as well, right? It's being curious, as you say, and I know I will find a way. Yeah, and I agree with you. For me, yeah, and I don't have injuries, and I never had an injury, so I'm quite lucky on that side. It's more finding a way of enjoying doing strength because exercises, because I know they are important, especially now at this stage of my life. I know they are important, and I know I will find a way to enjoy them more. And I've even at home, I've started to find interesting ways of doing at home. Sometimes it's just being creative, you know.
I'm intrigued, Carla. What are you doing? That's at home. That's
Do,
creative.
do you really want me to share some of them? So some of the things I'm not going to
Just
share.
just even
Uh,
just even one. Just even share one.
Oh,
Go on,
I'm
I'm
even more
intrigued.
interested in the one you don't want to share.
Go on. This is a safe space, Carla. Brave space.
yes, it's a section.
Here's an
Woo, woo.
invitation. Be brave.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm going. I just one. So we started to buy 10-liter boxes of water. You know,
Okay.
big boxes of water.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I do, and it's actually using strength, is using those and carry those
Mm,
basically. So instead of asking someone to do it on my behalf, I just
you're doing it.
carry them. So, and it's good for the arms, very good for my arms. But always, which is in because I've did strength and gym for many years, so I know how to do the exercises. So if you try to do it at home, always remember to bend your knees because of your back, so you don't have back issues if you are carrying that kind of weight. And that's what I do. So I grab the box with my knees, bend it. So bend your knees. Don't do it like this, or your back will go very bad. So, and I would have doctors after me because I gave bad advice and guidance. So be careful if you do it. Yeah, but that's something that I've started to do. So it's simple, but it's not enough. I know it's not enough. So I have
Kelly,
to.
she's not gonna open up, is she?
No, no.
Not gonna go there.
Censored bit, Carla. The censored bit. Come on, we're listening.
Oh, sorry.
No.
Look, if you don't want to, absolutely not. But we're just messing.
Teasing.
Yeah, but water is enough, right? Come on, it's a good example.
I was, like just listening to Kelly as well. What came up for me is, oh, and we digressed then to Carla's methods at home. It's gone out of my
Creativity.
head. Yeah, it's gone out of my head a little bit, but um, it's just so interesting, isn't it? Like the example I gave of overriding myself and getting injured in May. If I'm really honest, the injury happened not necessarily due to exercise, but because of what was showing up in my life at the time.
Okay.
And so it's the body's way of speaking to me. And this is what I hope people will take away from today is actually the body is is always constantly trying to speak to us and asking us to listen. And it can do it in a very subtle way. And if you do pause, allow
Yeah.
that spaciousness to really hear it, it doesn't have to get very loud. And sometimes when we don't listen, it gets louder in whichever form it needs to be heard. And so for me, really what I've been working through in terms of rehab is actually more not just on the physical level, it's on the emotional level, the mental level, spiritual level, to support me to come through this the other side. And, I think some people find it hard to go there and to lean into this kind of way of being. Um, Well-being in a holistic way is more than the physical.
Yeah.
Um, I have a therapist in my life and have done for some time. I don't see them all the time, but they're available to me for when something does show up and I need to process and work through it. Um, because it's not always appropriate to bring it to a family member or friend or whatever the environment might be. Um, the other things that I practice are like really good sleep hygiene. I have been really tired the last 2 weeks since I've come back from running the retreat in Spain. There's been this real fatigue in my body, and I'm sure it's linked to other things, but one of the things I can do about it is making sure that I sleep, that I have practiced good sleep hygiene to try and reduce the impact it might have or the ripple effect in other areas. Trying to nourish my body the best way I can, like eating rainbow of colors, doing all my greens and all my supplements that I do and blah, 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 all that kind of thing. Really, the other big thing for me is connection with other, beautiful beings that take me into that heart space and heart centeredness that really is nourishing. So, it's such a there's so many ways, and I really notice those things now, and I really am on a journey of self-honoring and trying to listen to what's being asked of me. Don't always get it right, but
Yeah. It's
it's
a journey, right?
it is a journey, and I suppose that's an invitation here for people listening in. It's like, where are you on this journey of listening to, pausing, and self-honoring? Because through that, what I've noticed is the positive impact it has on particularly the people you spend most time with, so your loved ones, into your work, into your other connections, and how you show up in those. You don't have to
Yeah.
always be at your best, but at least like you've tried to resource yourself and you can be honest about it as well.
Mm, yeah,
Mm. Yeah.
so true. And to even add to that kind of beautiful list, I think it's really showing how multifaceted it is,
Mm,
and different things can work for different parts of your life. Things change, and it's like even just little things. For me, is knowing when you become, and that's why self-awareness is so important, and I'm always growing it. And it's recognizing, actually, I need connection, I need to
Yeah.
reach out, or I need to be by myself, I need that alone time. And I'm somebody that I need that time just with me. um Sometimes I just need to be, sometimes I intuitively will go, if I'm going for a walk, do I want to go by water, or do I need more trees? And just learning to kind of sense into, actually, what play I was going to go here, but actually I need to be more surrounded by trees and green and stuff like that. So
mm,
just like, it's like really nuance, really little things. And just sometimes when I've taken the kids to school, I've had it, the morning is chaos. And if I'm working from home or doing something from home, sometimes just having a big clean up so the environment feels a
Yeah.
little bit spacious.
Yeah.
Spacious minds, creates more spaciousness inside of me. And then having smells.
oh
So,
yeah.
like certain smells just makes me feel like, oh, I feel centered again. So it's just really understanding yourself. And then we only can
Mm,
do that by kind of listening. And like even like learning sometimes, that like for me in the mental part is enjoy. I love learning and not
Me
getting kind of
too.
lost in it, but what is it that it makes me feel alive, and then when I'm learning about the stuff that I love to learn about, which is a far contrast when you're forced to learn stuff you're not interested in the school system,
Yeah.
but you get to choose, you get to choose what makes me feel alive, what makes me feel nourished. And
Mm.
and spontaneity. There's been certain seasons of my life has been so structured, and you need structure, but it can be over structured for me, and like I need freedom, I need to be spontaneous. But we can, so it's all the answers of what makes us feel alive and nourished. And when we get in our cars, and if we want that tank as full as we can get it, and actually with the lever will fall down, but the more we kind of just come back to those pauses and listen, even sometimes having an incense stick for me will kind of put that lever back up a bit, just like
I
slightly.
nearly, I wanted to put one on before we came live, and I was like, oh, it's going to take too long. So
Yeah,
instead, I put my roller on instead, and I'm sat here
yeah,
sniffing that.
absolutely, yeah. And yeah, and all these little things, and I was driving back from this school run this morning, and a wild rabbit just jumped, and just capturing that moment, the innocence, the curiosity, just again put my, like, my tank was a little bit, was coming down from full, and he just brought it back up again, because I took a moment just to notice a bit of beauty that I
Yeah.
could have.
Pause again and notice being
Yes,
present.
yeah,
Yeah.
That's
I love
what
that.
it's micro. It doesn't have to be a big thing. What I'm really hearing,
No.
like, it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be this. I've got to take out a half day or a whole day to go to the spa or whatever it might be. I don't know, or go on holiday. Those micro moments to refuel, to replenish, nourish can, go such a long way.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
love
Yeah.
that.
And what I've started to see it as like we have a wellness toolbox.
Mm,
And inside of that box, we can have so many things, right? All these things that you mentioned is the exercise, is the food, is the connection, is the smells, is the walking. It's this for me. It's the sea, for example. The sea is a huge thing for me. It's breath work. Um, it's the sleep. It's fasting. Fasting for me is also a big
mm,
thing that really helps me. So we have a wellness toolbox where we can put inside of that box all these things. And each day, with the pause and the check-ins, you can just open your wellness toolbox and you can say, "This is what I need
yeah.
today. This is what my body needs. This is what my mind needs." And you can use it. And some of them are really easy and free. And that's the beauty, right?
Mm,
Some of them easy and free. Breath work is one of them. And it's so important to breathe properly because
mm,
I myself realize that sometimes I don't breathe enough and we need to do proper breath work. So you just choose what you need. And that's one of the things that I've learned and I'm learning every day and adding through the ideas from other people, adding to my toolbox, my wellness toolbox ideas and more things that I will try. And then I choose the ones, as you say, Kelly. It's just be freeing to choose. Oh, yeah, today I will be, yeah, let's do this and try this today. And
yeah.
recently I've told you, right? Puppy yoga. Oh my, oh my. That's amazing. If you like dogs and puppies, that's one for you for sure because you don't do almost any yoga, but the puppies,
The picture you shared, you just look so serene. Like
but
Yeah.
it
you look,
is.
and there's so much love coming from that photo that you shared of your session.
But it is because you hold that tiny, it's like the size of your hand because they are really, really baby
Mm,
puppies. And you just, oh my, and everything. Yeah, it's the love, it's the care. You have that moment there, you don't think about anything else.
mm,
And it wasn't only me, all those that were in the yoga session, the puppy yoga session loved it because it's really so I highly recommend.
So cute.
Um, it's really amazing. So yeah, we are almost at the end. Yeah, we're almost at the end. So just please let us know if you have any questions, if you have other ideas of ways of taking care of yourself, of the body, physically, mentally, spiritually. Share with us as well, because we want to add more things to our toolkit, our wellness toolkit. Before we finish, one word from each one of us
Hmm.
today to leave this the podcast.
Yeah.
Mm.
Um, I can add that I think what it really comes back to is how we are in our being will shape our perspective. So if we're coming back to that analogy of an empty tank, that is going to shape how we, deal with challenges, how we relate to people, how we relate to the world. It kind of fogs, it narrows our perspective. So the more we kind of listen to our being and
Mm.
shape the doing from the being, not only does our wellness change and our relationship with ourselves, but everything ripples out. So it's far bigger than doing A, B, and C. It's really about creating the life with intention of what we
Yeah.
really want, and it comes back to meeting our needs, so that we have a wider lens of perspective to deal with life challenges. We have much more grounding and capacity to hold whatever comes our way, if that's emotions, if that's children's emotions, wherever it may be. But it's much harder to do when we're on an empty tank. So I would say is come back to your intention, what you want for yourself, and then look, okay, what is getting in the way of that?
Yeah.
Love that. What's coming in for you, Geeta?
I don't think I really have anything to add. It's just Kelly's summary really encapsulates it all, and I'm going to leave it there. Actually, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm with you. And I just want to add that's why we created this podcast. And the name is very intentional.
Mm.
If you notice, is revolution. It's the R in comas because it's the evolution part.
Mm.
And I believe we are at the moment where we are in an evolution and revolution as well stage
Mm.
as women. Um, yeah, so yeah, the women's revolution. That's how we will end it today.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone for joining us, and we will see you in 2 weeks. Stay well, stay safe, stay take care of yourself, and let us know if you have any questions, any comments, suggestions. We would love to hear from you. So bye everyone.
Bye. See you soon.
Bye. Well, I'm trying to end the recording and it's not ending, so probably we will stay here for a few more seconds.